We're in Texas where everything is big, and what's bigger than Dallas vintage toys? So we're gonna buy some big toys and have one big adventure. Today, we're gonna take a trip from our beautiful home base of San Diego, and we're headed to Dallas, Texas, because we're gonna visit a few shops that are a must visit when in Dallas. Plus, there's gonna be a few surprises. So let's go. Our first stop is to a toy shop called DFW Toy Stash. It's in Dallas, Texas, and has an amazing array of modern figures for any collecting line. And if you're part of my Facebook group, you know that I stopped here and gave away a Mando retro figure. That's a hint for all of you to follow me on Facebook at the Padawan Academy. The link is in the description. From life-size statues, maquettes, and figures that you don't see every day, it's a collector's dream. And my favorite video game franchise is the Fallout series, so it was hard not to walk away without this in my possession, but I'm glad that we picked up a figure for our Facebook followers here. And it's always cool to support local shops and small businesses, especially if they are toy shops. So we left there happy and on our way to our next shop, Dallas Vintage Toys. So we got there a little bit early, so yeah, we did some window stalking. Now this place is a haven for vintage and modern collectors of all lines, and you're gonna see things in here in person that you have only ever seen pictures of. And there are some things in here that we definitely have our eye on. But it also got me thinking, what are some of the rarest collecting items in Star Wars fandom? Not just in the vintage Kenner line, but in all-time Star Wars. And I think we want to exclude the one-of-a-kind items like any movie prop that's hard to get your hands on. And I want to focus on things that we, the collectors, could have gone and bought at a store or even at a garage sale. So let's have some fun and do a top 10 list of the rarest Star Wars collecting items in history. Number 10, Vlix action figure Minton card. Rumored to be the rarest commercially released Star Wars figure, Vlix was from the 1985 animated show Star Wars Droids: The Adventures of R2 and C-3PO. The second series of figures was never released in the US, but the company Glasslight did release Vlix in Brazil. The toy is an odd bit of Star Wars merchandising lore, and because of its high $60,000 price tag, that's why it makes it as number 10 on this list. Number 9, the Lego chrome-painted C-3PO. Kenner isn't the only company that produced Star Wars items that became incredibly rare. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of Star Wars in 2007, Lego released 10,000 gold chrome-plated C-3PO minifigs and added them to playsets, and sealed them in a white bag. Finding one of these protocol droids can fetch up to $1,200. There's also 5 solid gold Lego 3POs out there, going for upwards of $10,000. Number 8, Star Wars #1 comic, the 35-cent variant. Back in 1977, comics were 30 cents an issue, but Marvel, with pressure from Lucasfilm, wanted to test out a 35-cent price increase in 3 markets. There's not a lot of these suckers floating around, so if you have one, know that the price has jumped from the 35 cents to a cool $15,000. Number 7, Blue Snaggletooth in Box Cantina playset. The Blue Snaggletooth is one of the more well-known Star Wars collectibles, and not the hardest to find. But to grab this figure sealed inside the rare Sears exclusive playset made in 1978 is very rare to find, especially in mint condition. Estimates are well above the $4,000 range to buy. Number 6, Lego Millennium Falcon. When it was released in 2007, it costs a whopping $500 to buy, and with 5,100 pieces, it was a big release. If you can find one in the box, it can cost up to $16,000. Without the box, it would still go for $2,000. Number 5, 1977 R2-D2 Lunchbox. This collectible isn't just a rare piece of Star Wars history, but also a rare lunchbox, and there are lunchbox enthusiasts apparently. Because this was a prototype that was never produced for some unknown reason, only about a dozen exist. This fetches about $4,000 on the open market. Number 4, Darth Vader's die-cast TIE Fighter. Kenner put this out in 1978, and apparently this is one of the hardest ones to find, so hardcore fans are really after it, to the tune of $4,000 apparently. Impressive. Most impressive. Number 3, R2-D2 Pepsi Cooler. This may not be the most expensive piece on this list, but because it was used as an in-store promotional prop and many got trashed or not very well taken care of, it's hard to find one that is in new condition. If you can find one, it's very affordable at around $1,000 to $2,000. Number 2, the 15-pack Melloway figures. This was only sold in the Sears catalog and was the only catalog to offer this many figures in a Melloway offer. So that's why finding this collectible, not only in great shape but sealed, makes this a grail for specialty collectors out there. Last prices that were listed for this were around the $4,000 mark, so if this is within your price range, it is attainable, which is why this is ranked so high. Now before we get into number 1, here are some special mentions. It's George Lucas himself in Lego form. Now, George isn't much for the spotlight, but Lego did somehow get the green light for this back in 2010. You may think this is a weird idea, and the Lego company apparently concurred because this was never actually mass-produced. That puts this onto the rare side of things, and this little piece goes for over $3,000 on the open market. George Lucas's Panavision camera that was used to film the original Star Wars movie. And it's probably appropriate that this is the most valuable thing in the whole fandom, which went on auction back in 2011 and sold for $625,000. And the number 1 most rare item is probably not what you're thinking. And the number 1 most rare item for any Star Wars collector to obtain, the 1977 Comic-Con poster with a Star Wars mention. Publicist Charles Lippincott went down to the San Diego Comic Convention to muster interest in sci-fi enthusiasts. The making of Star Wars doesn't refer to the late 1977 television documentary, but rather a panel held at the convention and a slideshow given by Mr. Lippincott. Very few of these posters remain, and this is a very coveted item in Star Wars historical archives. Prices vary on this item because it's so rare to find, so it's hard to give a dollar amount. Let me know what you thought of this list in the comments and if there are any items that come to your mind. But for now, let's get a rare item that we are looking for. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. We don't have a graded R2 yet. We also don't have a graded Snaggletooth yet. And there's a Death Star droid inside there. And I haven't found a graded one of those yet either. Those are hard to find because their limbs are so loose. We're gonna check out the prices of those 3 and we're gonna walk out with one of them today. So, after doing some bargaining and dealing, we came up with a deal to get 2 graded items. But at the last minute, I decided to only go with 1. And yes, we went with the blue Snaggletooth, AFA graded 80 for $725. That may be a lot of money, but it's actually right along with what the market price is today. The other one that we left behind was the graded R2, but that will be for another trip. So the figure that we got is the toe dent version of the blue Snaggletooth. Now, it's said that the no toe dent is the more desirable of the two, and it's said to be more pricey, and on the forums and blogs, it's just said to be a manufacturing error of the toe dent. So here's a brief history of the blue Snaggletooth. When Kenner was going to produce the Snaggletooth for the Sears Cantina set, which I mentioned earlier in the episode, they were given a black and white photo as a reference, so they made him the size of a regular figure and also made him blue. The icon on the belt was actually a design that a Kenner employee had as a personal business card icon and snuck that onto the figure. The blue Snaggletooth was also available not just in the Cantina set, but also in the mail-away offer from Sears with Greedo. Well, the actual blue Snaggletooth figure, it was actually supposed to be half the size and also wearing red. And as for the icon, it made it on both the blue and red Snaggletooth. So, after Kenner fixed the figure, the blue Snaggletooth was never available as a figure ever again. So, are they the same character? Well, no. If you are a Star Wars purist, they are two separate characters, and they actually have names. Zutton is the red Snaggletooth, and the one that we see in the original Star Wars movie, and is the male version of the species. Zutmore is the female of the species, and the one that you may have caught in the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special. But, like stated earlier, Kenner made the upgrade to the Snaggletooth and corrected the look by making the shorter character, replacing the blue spacesuit with red, and also taking away the silver moon boots, instead opting for furry feet. Honestly, I could devote a whole 3-part series just to this figure, and I just might do that, but for now, there's the short lore. And things to look out for when you're wanting to grade this figure is the paint on the boots to be in great condition. And with the side-by-side comparison with the lower condition version, you can see what I mean. Also, one thing to look out for is the torso and limbs turning color to an almost blue-green color, and sometimes this means that the plastic is becoming brittle and may shatter on you without even dropping it. Also, you have to make sure that this character comes with the correct Rebel Blaster, and in this case, according to the Imperial Gunnery, it's the dark blue-black Rebel Blaster, but looking at forums, this is highly debatable as the blue Snaggletooth never came mint on card and have been reported to also come with the blue Rebel Blaster. But I've known AFA to reject figures that come with the blue Rebel Blaster, so make sure you research this before you send it in to get graded. The one we have graded from AFA is the dark blue black Rebel Blaster. So, with the new graded Snaggletooth in hand, and after a long day of toy shopping, we went to go check out the Cowboys game, which they won. And we also had to stop and get some amazing dinner at one of our favorite restaurants, Nobu in downtown Texas. And after coming back home to San Diego, I think our blue Snaggy is gonna love it in his new town. So let's go ahead and cross this off from our list, and it's in our grading run so we can place down that it's graded from AFA at an 80, and yes, for the price of $725. So thank you for joining me on this road trip. I had a lot of fun exploring Dallas, finding out about some of the rarest Star Wars collectibles on the planet, and getting our own rare Star Wars item added to our collection. So if you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and also the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can follow the journey. And yes, it does help the channel. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time. If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.